It's a beautiful overcast morning. Beautiful because it's a nice break from all the sun we get here in LA. It's sunny almost every day, so whenever it's gloomy and overcast like this, I actually enjoy it. Today, we're gonna take a trip down memory lane. We're gonna go to various locations that I used for the Bold Guy web series, starting with the very first episode. Actually, the second episode. The very first episode wasn't even shot in LA. It was shot in the San Francisco Bay Area. That's where I used to live before moving down here back in 2009. That one, if you're a fan, you know it's the Bold Guy and the Tough Girl, which takes place at the library. That library is actually at a college that I used to work at. So we're not gonna go there, but we'll start with the second episode, the Bold Guy and the Beach Girl, which takes place in Santa Monica Beach, Muscle Beach to be exact. So the first order of the day is to eat. Parking is a nightmare in Santa Monica, but I just managed to park, heading over to the beach right now. And here we are walking up to Santa Monica Pier. It's actually drizzling quite a bit, lots of moisture in the air. There's the pier. We're gonna walk down the cliff. Just to the left of it will be the Muscle Beach area. And this is it. First stop on our tour, Santa Monica, Muscle Beach. I'm walking up to the parallel bars right here where the beach girl was doing her exercise. And if you look behind me, you'll see that short wall here where the Bold Guy jumps up and first sees her. I can't remember if it's a shot where we can see the Ferris wheel on the pier, but this is it. This is 10 years ago. It's kind of empty because it's middle of the week. A lot of people watch the film, they wonder, hey, how did you get Muscle Beach to be so empty? Well, basically, we came here, like I said, middle of the week, super early, like 6 a.m. There was no one here. Not even the few stragglers, a few people working out. No one was here. Obviously, as the shoot went on, a couple hours later, people started showing up. And one funny thing was, tourists would be walking by and they would stop and take photos of us. We're like a small production. We're 3-4 people, camera, sound, me, the actress, one assistant maybe. And they're acting like they're seeing a big Hollywood production. But I guess for our tourists, you know, people live in LA, they see productions all the time, big ones on the streets, in the neighborhoods, all that. But it was funny that people were stopping and taking photos of us like we're some kind of big production and we're just a zero budget ghetto production. About half a mile down, we're gonna go to another location that I actually used for the Bold Guy and Yoga Girl. From the moment I saw these columns, I said, man, I have to use this in a film somewhere. So I used it in the Bold Guy Yoga Girl episode. They show up in the background. And if you look over here, that's the grassy area where the Yoga Girl was meditating. And if you look up there, those are the stairs that the Bold Guy, with a bag of chips in hand, vaults over and heads over to talk to the Yoga Girl. Second stop on our tour, West LA. The West LA courthouse, to be exact. There's a little plaza there where we shot the opening sequence for Epic Arm Wrestler. It's been a while since I've been here, but it's changed quite a bit. They've actually boarded up the courthouse building. See, West Los Angeles Municipal Building. A lot of skaters here. This wall here is where the angry guy walks and takes off his shirt. Comes around the corner. Bold Guy is sitting right there eating his cheeseburger. That's the orange wall where they climb up. It's all fenced off now. Wow. I haven't been here in years. That white wall over there, that's where the Bold Guy vaults, does a lazy vault over. And right behind me is where he does the cat leap onto the fence. Yeah, this chain fence wasn't here, so we just climbed right over the wall. and out of sight. All the obstacles are pretty close to each other, but we just made it look like it was a bunch of separate locations, but they're all right here at the plaza. Somewhere around here is that wall where the bold guy does a cat vault over it, and it says exit. It says exit right there. Thought it was kind of cool to throw that in where they're running up. Boom, boom. So this reminds me of something. There's an abandoned wheelchair here. Now, why is that significant to me? We used the wheelchair for a bunch of sequences in Epic Arm Wrestler. So all the dolling shots you see where we punch in on the bull guy's face, and those were on a wheelchair. This is 2011, so this is before they had those gyroscopic stabilizers where everything's like perfectly smooth. You either had to get a really expensive Steadicam and have the skills to use it, or you could get a super cheap wheelchair, have someone sit in it and hold the camera, and that's what we did. The police station is actually nearby. These are police vans, LAPD. These are the new vans. That's an old one. Old Los Angeles Police Department bus. Who knows what they use it for? Probably decades ago. Next stop, Culver City. We're gonna go to Culver City because that's where the Epic Arm Wrestler chase continues. See you there. Now, Culver City is its own city inside the city of LA. That's how big LA is. LA is so big, there are multiple actual cities inside the city itself. Culver City is one of them. Beverly Hills, West Hollywood, Santa Monica. One thing I forgot to mention is the next stop for Epic Arm Wrestler would technically be downtown LA. That's where we shot the sequence where Angry Guy challenges the bold guy to an arm wrestling match. So we shot that downtown LA. I'm not gonna bother going all the way downtown. Traffic is hell for that one location, but it's worth mentioning because we shot there, and then if you've seen the film, you know that the arm wrestling match, it continues into the nighttime. We were not able to shoot in downtown LA for the night portion of it. So I had another location with a similar brick wall. Nobody can ever tell that we changed locations because the background is just a brick wall, just like it was in downtown LA, and it's nighttime, so everything, the surroundings are all covered in black. So daytime, downtown LA, sun goes down, we're in Culver City, downtown Culver City, and that's where we're gonna go. Downtown Culver City. Some say this is the birthplace of Hollywood because some of the oldest studios, actually one of the oldest studios, is right here. It's been a while. Things have changed a lot. I'm in the alley. This is the actual alley where the chase happens, where the car is blocking his path. That was my Honda Civic back then when we shot it, and I drove that Honda Civic for years afterwards. And there was always a dent, a soft dent in the hood of the car for years afterwards because, you know, I kept landing on it over and over again, doing multiple takes. So I'm looking for the alley where the actual arm wrestling takes place at night. I believe it's right here. It looks like the brick wall has gotten a paint job. So I chose this wall because it was actually the color of bricks, natural bricks, and it matched the bricks in downtown. It was somewhere right here, the exact angle. Yeah, different paint job. That's it. Okay, next stop will be UCLA, University of California, Los Angeles, where I've shot a bunch of episodes, most notably the Bold Guy Parkour Girl episode, and my favorite episode of all, the Bold Guy Vampire Girl episode. UCLA with all the beautiful trees. Lots of good architecture here. I've used a lot of locations here. Let's go check out a few of them. So I'm smack dab in the middle of the location where the Bold Guy and Parkour Girl start their chase. You may recognize the wall behind me. Those little step thingies. The Bold Guy and Parkour Girl ran up with those. They went up that tall wall. Check this out. It is crazy busy here. Tens of thousands of students are back at UCLA. So why are we here? Here's my favorite building that I've used in multiple films. The one you've seen it in is this one right here. It's called Royce Hall. Obviously it looked different in Vampire Girl because it was at night and it was completely empty. This building was actually used in one of my favorite films of all time, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3. This building was like a mental hospital for teenagers. They even used the towers for a very scary nightmare sequence. I've actually used this in a brand new film that I haven't released yet because I love the Gothic architecture. It is absolutely gorgeous. This one's pretty good too. This is Powell Library. The bells are going off. If you haven't seen Nightmare on Elm Street 3, you need to watch Nightmare on Elm Street 3. It's a masterpiece. The last spot we're going to check out at UCLA is, check this out. Look familiar? It's the tunnel. But this is where the Grim Reaper appears behind the bald guy as he's walking. And he stops. I like that scene. Next to the tunnel, you will see the stairs that the bald guy comes down from in the dark, setting up the atmosphere before he's about to meet death. Oh, and this wall reminds me of something. We used a wall like this here at UCLA. I can't remember where the exact wall was, but it was similar to this, maybe half the height, and there were stairs next to it. That's what we used in Son of a MILF, and we did 2 takes, and it was actually next to the road. Cars were driving by honking at us because they thought we were gonna kill ourselves, you know? It looks kind of dangerous, but we were going really slowly. Anyways, after 2 takes, the police show up. So what the hell are you guys doing? You can't do crazy stunts like that. It's a liability. So they kicked us out. I never got the shot from the opposite angle. So we have the low angle, which we got, but I needed a shot from the top where we hop over onto the stairway. So we had to come back a couple days later and quickly steal the shot. Last stop on our tour will be another university, the University of Northridge, where I've shot numerous films. And I'm going to show you a couple spots. We just went over the hill. We're in the valley now. We're on Matador Walkway. It's the name of the walkway at Northridge University. You can see these concrete benches. I used those in the death episode. So we're heading over to the Epic Library. Unfortunately, the library is under massive construction, but it is an amazing building. Check it out. That's the awesome Epic Library at Northridge. You'll remember that the bald guy walks down those steps and sees Mystery Girl in Son of a MILF. And then she turns a corner and he turns a corner and they go into that doorway. And we actually shot inside that doorway, in that hallway, while classes were in session. I don't know why I thought that was a good idea, but we did it. It was a weekday, classes were in session. We're in the hallway, okay? That scene where Denver and the Beast show up and confront the bald guy. All the classrooms were full. Some of the doors were open. So if you watch that scene carefully, you'll notice that we're doing our best not to be too loud, not to yell, because literally 10 feet, 15, 20 feet around the corner are classrooms in session. And the funny story is, in the middle of shooting that scene, classes let out, okay? Suddenly, the bell rings, all the classes empty, all the students start coming out into the hallway. I'm standing there shirtless with my hairy chest. Tom, who plays Beast, is standing there shirtless with spikes around his neck. There's a camera and a tripod. We're all standing there waiting for the students to clear. And then the professor, one of the professors comes out of the hallway, looks at us for a second, looks at his students, and then he looks at his students again and says, "Guys, can you walk around through the other way? They're shooting a movie here." I thought that was the coolest professor ever. Recognize that bench? Mystery Girl is sitting on that bench. The funny thing about that scene is that, again, it wasn't a weekday. classes were in session, or maybe it was a Saturday, so some classes were still in session. So when the characters Denver and the Beast run over to the metal rail, he yells out, "I'm gonna f your mother in the ass," and he's yelling this at the top of his lungs. There were students walking around, and we did that take multiple times. I mean, I would never do that today. I can't believe we tried to pull that off. We did pull it off. But in the middle of daytime, he's yelling at the top of his lungs. It's a miracle campus police weren't called. The last spot that I'm going to show you here is a very simple spot, but it's a very special spot because it became famous through my episode, Bold Guy versus Dance Girl. Boom. Recognize that? That orange brick. Same color. Nothing's changed. I gotta go touch it. This wall right here. I made this wall famous. 17.5 million views and counting. Time for me to head home. Been at this all day. And there are so many more locations to show you, but there just isn't enough time. I just thought I'd show you some highlights, some of my favorite locations for some of my favorite episodes. Who knows? 10 years later, I might do another tour of a whole new series of films. Hope you guys enjoyed this tour, and I'll see you guys next time.